Welcome back, everybody. It's my favorite time of year. I don't know about you guys, but it's time for the 2024 Sarcasm Speaks Celebrity Death Pool. So here we are. If you're watching on YouTube, first make sure you subscribe, hit that button up top. But I would imagine, right, that we're going to be using my screen because I'm the one that's recording this. So obviously I'm here in the middle, but if you're on YouTube, you can see to my this way. I think it's mirrored when we record. So it's my right, but I think it's going to end up being on the left. We have Sexy Chris, right? And then below him, we have Mike. And then obviously we have Bob, who's always here. And then on this side of me, as my finger disappears from my background, we have Jones. So same five we had last year. Nick is as a friend of the show, was unable to make the show this year. I don't think he was able to make it last year either, but still got his picks in. So I am going to stand in and read his picks for him. Shout out to Nick. He provided some great background on some of his picks too. So I'll read that as well. I won't just read the names and kind of leave it into the ether. Especially because if you saw the text message that he sent me, like he put a lot of effort into that. I'm not just going to be like, oh yeah, he picks this person and that person. Like I'll use the context that he used. But before we get there, we have a quick recap of last year. So last year, starting with Bob, it looks like last year we had like 4 to 5 people each. But starting with Bob, you had Scott Steiner, Burt Bacharach, Brett Favre, and Andrew Tate. You actually hit Burt Bacharach. You
Can't believe
were
Scott Steiner's still alive.
you were one of 2 picks that hit last year. So second to go last year was Mike, who had Sam Bankman-Fried, who came probably pretty close at some point this year. But then he had Mel Brooks, Steven Tyler, who looks like he died 12 years ago, and William Shatner. Unfortunately, all swings and misses there somehow. William Shatner, who's like 116, and Steven Tyler, who's been pickled with heroin. And then next we had Chris last year, who I was 1000% on board that Bam Margera was going to die last
I
year.
don't know how he survived.
Jared Cat Puke Taylor came
Jared
in
Taylor
and fucking saved you. He saved him. He fucked you over. You got him on Ibogaine and ayahuasca and all that shit. Now he's clean. Then you had Callum Von Mosier, right? That the bodybuilder. Paul Pelosi, which people forget that whole debacle that happened about a year ago this time. And Lizzo, lo and behold, despite her fucking cholesterol numbers, she's still kicking.
It's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. Then we had Jones, who was the only other person to hit last year, who led with Dianne Feinstein, who died last year. And then you also had Bernie Sanders, Ric Flair, who I don't know how he's still alive. Terry Bradshaw, who may be on the Joe Biden treatment right now. Brian May, and Jake the Snake Roberts, who's also somehow defying logic. Yeah, that's another one.
He's like he has his own podcast now. He's thriving.
Yeah. So he's probably coming to a church in Taunton soon to do a fucking show.
And then Nick, who actually, in hindsight, in my opinion, I think potentially had the best list of all and didn't hit any of the 5 last year. He had Ringo Starr, Sandy Koufax, Gary Busey, who I enjoyed that pick a lot. Another one that probably should have died 12 years ago. The Big Show, Paul White, and Harry Styles. So surprisingly, none of those 5. And then I rounded out the show with Andy Dick, Macaulay Culkin, Luis Aparicio, who I still can't believe is alive. He played baseball in like fucking 1925. And then Michael Caine, better known as Alfred in the Christopher Nolan James Bonds. And then we also had our show pick last year that we fucking whiffed on. Was Val Kilmer. How the fuck is Val Kilmer still alive as a show pick?
I forgot.
Yeah, I thought that was like the reason he was a show pick was like, oh, you can't pick Val Kilmer. He's definitely gonna die. Well, he'll
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna die tomorrow.
Yeah, because that's how this works. When we pick people, they die the next year. So yeah, if you're new to the show, typically when in the past, outside of I forget whether it was 2021 or 2022, but outside of whatever year that was where we did well, everyone we picked dies the following year. We picked them. So it's the curse of the show. So that being said, let's get to the picks. So I will start with Nick's picks for this year. So he says he's going to use a strategy similar to what Bob has used in the past, which seemed to be successful. Yeah, because I think you've actually hit multiple years in a row, right? Like we've all kind of hit sporadically, but I think you've hit at least one. Maybe not 2 years in a row, but maybe like 3 out of the last 4. You've actually been pretty good.
What can I say? I'm good at what I do.
So his strategy, similar to Bob, pick people that are very old, and then also some younger people that have sketchy pasts here.
Ridden hard, put away wet.
Yes. Says that although people typically die old, it seems like people aren't dying as much as they used to, which is bullshit for our sake. Because they're just a waste of space and breathing in all the good air that could be used for people that actually contribute to society.
Didn't Clayton Bigsby have a rally that started with some words similar to that?
Potentially. So his first pick is someone who is near and dear, not only to him, but also to me and potentially some of you as well. That would be William Bill Daniels, aka Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. So I think Mr. Feeney is like 96 years old. So that's a tough one, right? But because you love the show and it was on when we were growing up, but he's old as fuck. So he's on Nick's list. His next pick is another actor that's way too fucking old, and that's Gene Hackman. I looked it up. Obviously, I didn't leave the page open.
He's like 96 or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
93?
think he's. I had it on a list, but I changed the list. He's like, I think he's like 96. Surprisingly. But Gene Hackman. And then his third pick will be Dick Van Dyke, who he's hoping pulls a Betty White, who Dick Van Dyke is supposed to turn 100 this year. And he's hoping that he falls just short of the 100 like Betty White did. So then he switches over to sports, which will be one of the greatest to ever play the game of baseball. None other than Willie Mays, which I think is a good pick. I don't know how old Willie Mays is, but I feel like he's pretty fucking old. Let's see who's next here. His next pick is from the music industry. So when you go back in history, talking about famous couples, this couple should have been her to die young and not the man. You probably know where this is going.
Sonny and Cher.
So to the person who broke up one of the biggest and greatest bands in the history of time,
Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono, it's your time to meet Mr. Reaper this year. And then his last pick, I was going to say she's not the music industry, but she is. She attempted to very, very poorly.
Did she get muted in one song with Chuck Berry?
Yeah, because
Yes.
she was like yodeling.
Now, do you think that John Lennon will come back? His death was a scheme just to get away from that fucking bitch. He's just been hiding for the last 40-something years.
That would be
And
absolutely incredible.
I would love that.
I would love that so much. Especially if like Paul McCartney were to die this year and he comes back and he's like,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
I'm the last Beatle, bitch.
Bring back the only good Beatle. She's contributed nothing to anything ever. She fucking sucks. Yoko Ono sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she literally broke up arguably the greatest band in the history of time. So his last pick is someone from the wrestling industry, as he always likes to pick someone from there, because people in that industry are always dying left and right, because they are quite literally ridden hard and put away wet. That is part of their fucking job. So his pick for wrestler this year will be Greg the Hammer Valentine. So those are Nick's picks for the show. Just really quickly, they are Bill Daniels, aka Mr. Feeney, Gene Hackman, Dick Van Dyke, Willie Mays, Yoko Ono, and Greg Valentine. All right.
Solid.
Those solid picks.
Willie Mays is in 92.
Oh, wow. That's pretty fucking old. All right. So next, Chris, would you like to go?
I'll go. And if you guys have been paying attention, you'll probably have this guy on your list. So I'm sorry if I'm stealing it from anyone. But he doesn't look like he's doing well these days, and that's Bruce Willis.
Ooh, yeah.
Did I steal him from anybody?
That's a good one. I didn't steal him from me, no.
No, he's like signing away everything, and I don't know. He just doesn't. If you've seen him recently, he looks like he's aged 20 years in the last 5. So we're gonna start there. Second one on the list. This dude is fucking with 2 things that will kill you. One is a crazy woman, and the other one is Scientology. And that's Will Smith.
Ooh, that's another good one.
I feel like he's had a rather turbulent last couple years, and his ex-wife or whatever the fuck she is not doing him any favors, right? Like she's just blasting him on everything and just making him look like a complete, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have concerns over Will Smith, and I don't know, like, has he done anything since he slapped Chris Rock? Has he been in the public sphere? Can anyone remember anything since that happened? Like last March?
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything.
I feel like he's just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Was he supposed to be in a movie or something? I don't
know.
I can't
Last
remember.
I heard of him, they were trying to do a I Am Legend sequel, which he died in, but
so things are going well for him, yeah.
All right, my next one, and I'm certainly not engaged in this world. I could give a fuck about the royal family, but Meghan Markle.
Ooh,
because the two of them, Meghan and Harry, seem like they will do anything to keep the public spotlight, and I feel like she's going to like be in some kind of like Princess Di situation, almost like set up intentionally, and then it goes horribly wrong and she actually dies in the car crash or something. I don't know. I just saw something like that her mother just moved in with them because they've had a really rough and turbulent year. So her mother's now moved in on their property or something. It's just fuck these people, fuck her, fuck Harry, fuck all of them.
I have heard that there's like rumors that they're like no longer really getting along, and there's like the whole thing about divorce because like technically you're not supposed to get divorced in the royal family, but the king did
Aren't they no
before.
longer actually part of the royal family?
Yeah, I think. Well, he's like super low in the succession anyway.
Oh yeah. Once the other brothers start having kids, he's like, he's not even touching that throne.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That's a good one.
And then I'll go 4. Speaking of ticking time bombs, because I feel like to some degree or another, most trans people are. Elliot Page, formerly
Ooh,
known as Ellen Page.
yeah.
And maybe that's a little dark, but he just put out a book. I'll be respectful. I think last year, and just I don't know what this person is trying to pass themselves off as, but it's almost like a Michael Jackson situation where they don't even look human anymore. Something else is going on. And I feel like that train's about to pull out of the station. So we'll see.
Yeah. Those are some good ones. I like that. All right. Mike, you're next. Who do you got?
All right. I got one that gonna happen because he's old as hell. Jimmy Carter.
Okay. Oh, so you actually were having your connection issues when right before we hit record, but I think spoiler alert, I think we're gonna make Jimmy Carter a show pick.
Ah, okay. Then in substitute of him, another one that is very old, and I don't think he's been doing too much recently. And I hate to say it, Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah,
He's like
I
98.
don't want to see it happen, but he's old as hell and it's gonna happen anytime.
Yeah.
Next one, I'm gonna go RFK Jr. since we all know how well Kennedys do with presidential campaigns.
There it is.
He's gonna he's gonna pull his old man and get shot in the hotel kitchen somewhere. Uh Next one is Mitch McConnell. Feel like he's just gonna be up there and he's gonna sneeze out and
That's a
his
good
brain's
one
gonna
because he's obviously got some fucking seizures going on, but like if I think he might be done, right? Is he up for election soon? But he's a classic case of like the guy that retires and he's dead 6 months later.
yeah.
If he even makes it to retirement, he might die before then.
He's functioning about as well as Mike's internet right now.
As long as I don't ever have a bad connection during a Zoom hearing, which has happened, makes things really awkward.
Yeah, that's fun.
One next one, the evil emperor of sports, Jerry Jones.
Oh, that would rock the
Uh,
fucking sports world.
Yeah, he does not look good when the camera goes to him on Cowboys games. He does not look good at all.
That's an interesting one.
And my last one, with all of the Epstein stuff coming out, Prince Andrew.
Ah, yeah, I can see that one. That's a solid one where the royal family is like, nah, too much baggage. They already kicked him out of the royal family, didn't they? They made him excommunicado.
Yeah, he's no longer welcome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They like took away his castle and everything too. It sucks. Imagine like being
What
royal and your family takes away your castle.
what do you think his day-to-day life is? What does he do? Like you wake up, you're Prince Andrew. What do you do?
I mean, now it's probably pretty sad. But I mean, when he was
It's
living
no
in a
longer friends
castle,
and children.
yeah, I mean, when he was like still rich, living in a castle is probably like, I don't know, fucking walk around naked, use every bathroom in the house because there's
Just
probably like 16 of them.
just moved to Thailand and fuck the ladyboys.
He could be doing that.
Probably already there.
Yeah. All right. So you said Prince Andrew was your last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bob, what do you got?
All right, so my first one is going to be Jack Burke Jr., former golfer, won the 56 Masters PGA, 100 years old. We need a golfer to die soon. Too old. Also extremely old, and someone that probably should just kind of like move on. Virginia Hallis, McCluskey, whatever the fuck, the owner of the Bears.
Yep. Yep.
She's 101.
Nikos's favorite person.
Like move it along. Like there's other people here. Just get it going. Then we move into some funner ones. Jerry the King Lawler.
Ooh.
He's only 76, but you want to talk about like a life of stimulants, whether that's cocaine or caffeine, whatever it is. But you want to talk about being like revving on fucking like redlining every day of your life for like most of your life.
Yeah.
Not great. So I'm going with him for this year. I'm also gonna pick Jerry Sandusky. You know, I know pedophiles are in the news right now, but he's 79 and you know, maybe the cameras went out and the guards weren't on duty. He's not influential enough for that situation, but I could see someone just like he's always prone to be just getting fucking stabbed in prison or something. Now he's probably in solitary or he's probably away from everyone else, but if there's a way, if there's a will, there's a way. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's actually true, but from, from what the media tells you, right, whether it's TV shows or all that shit or rumors, is pedophiles aren't taken too kindly in prison,
no,
right? Like the murder, fucking assault and battery and all that shit's like respected, but kid fucking is not respected.
never.
Or kid murdering too. People don't like kid murderers. Basically anything, if you fuck with kids, like you're gonna get fucking raped in prison.
Speaking of getting stabbed in prison, can I add a fifth person to mine?
Sure.
Eric Chauvin.
Did he live through
Oh.
that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I thought he was already dead.
No.
But yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna
That-
try it again.
yeah. I mean, now he's weak, vulnerable.
And I think his appeal got denied. I'm pretty sure his appeal got denied.
Yeah,
So he's definitely.
He's a sitting duck.
Sitting pig, son.
And my last one is Elton John,
No.
also
Oh,
70,
God.
also 76. And truthfully, the only reason he's on my list is last week when we were discussing what day we were going to actually record. Someone looked at me and goes, "Oh, is Elton John still alive?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Is he?" Looked it up. Still alive. I go, "He's on." It was a sign. He's going down. People have forgotten about him. Not true, but whatever. The only problem is British motherfuckers don't die. So we'll throw a Hail Mary at Elton John.
Speaking of stimulants.
Yeah. Well, he's another guy too. He's retiring. I think whatever if he's still
Ooh.
touring, this is his last tour and he's done.
His last tour.
Yeah. Until like
They
3
always say
years
it's their
from now.
last tour.
Yeah. Yeah, having the Rolling Stones have retired like 12 times.
Also, put some respect on it. That's Sir Elton.
Yes, we'll have a nice royal fucking funeral or whatever.
All right. That brings us to Jones.
all right. So I also have a British person too. I have Rod Stewart first up.
Melanie Smalls.
He's 78 years old, and the reason why I say this is he's he's been in South Park, the season 3, episode 16 of South Park, with titled "Are You There, God? It's Me, Jesus." He was super old in 1999. That was
Jesus.
25 years ago.
Romance.
Therefore, he can get fucked and he can get out. He can go away this year.
I think he's still putting out music. One hurts.
Also, bringing it back to South Park, I'm taking Phil Collins. He can get out of my face.
Dude, you don't like
He's
Phil
70
Collins?
No. I honestly thought he was dead a long time ago.
So I take it you were a Peter Gabriel guy. All right.
Yeah, so when I texted you guys this morning, if diabetic was okay, he's diabetic, so that's why he doesn't like play drums anymore. He can't do the foot stuff.
When did what's his face die? The old guy. I have diabetes.
Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley, yeah.
3 years ago.
Then the next person I have is Chuck Grassley. He's 90. He's been an Iowa senator since 1981.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I think he's getting out of it at the end of his term this year or whenever. But still, from 1981, he just died. He's 90. Oh,
It's the year my mother graduated high school. She's 60.
He's not even the oldest guy in the Senate, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
I think that Vermont guy that isn't Bernie is older than him.
Oh, Christ.
At least in Vermont, there's nothing to really do.
Yeah.
Just give them their weed and their guns, and they'll be fine.
And then I have Cher as my next pick. She was on the Thanksgiving Day parade this past year, and I thought she died like 25 years ago. So I'm picking her this year, and then I'm taking Fonzie as my last pick. Henry Winkler. He's 78, and all those commercials on like old at news stations at like 3 a.m. doesn't look so hot. So I'm going with him.
That would be a sad one.
Yeah, be tough.
Henry Winkler. From just like as just a random aside, from like things that you have just heard and like seen people talk about, like I think he's actually like a really good person. Like he's like a Keanu Reeves level, like actually a good human being.
I've heard that as well. Probably from the same person you heard.
But all right. So that brings us to the caboose here. So I am thrilled to say that no one took my favorite pick here, that I am extremely excited to share with everyone. I'm going to be really upset if it doesn't hit, but I'm going to go with Sister Jean from Chicago Loyola, who's the fucking de facto mascot for their college basketball team. I saw Loyola Chicago was like playing a game on TV like 2 weeks ago, and they rolled her out in a fucking wheelchair before the game, and I was like, oh my God, she's gonna be on my list this year. So Sister Jean. And you know what would be incredible? I mean, obviously, the nature of the show is a death pool, so in a way we are rooting for people to die. I was gonna say you never root for someone to die, but if she died like soon and it like propelled Loyola Chicago into like the Final Four, I would send them a copy of this episode and be like, you need to thank me. Like I want my name on the trophy, or just like send me a jacket.
If he does die, I am absolutely betting against them any and every which way possible. Because that's what the people are gonna think.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're gonna play hard for Sister Jean. Oh, right, because they wouldn't play hard anyway. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They play this sport at that level because they need some old lady to fucking die for them to play hard. Yeah, you're right. Oh well, they're gonna do it for her. No,
she's 103.
Yeesh.
Jesus Christ, man.
That's a good run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are we sure she's not dead right now?
Yeah.
Nope. Unsure.
They just fucking taxidermied her and roll her out to the sidelines of the fucking basketball games.
Comes
Listen,
out tomorrow.
I-
She died yesterday.
I had no idea who this woman was. So I just Googled her. And the second question that comes up, this is, why is Sister Jean in a wheelchair? And it says, she's in good physical health for a woman her age. Okay.
Yeah, 103.
Yeah, I mean, good physical health at 103 is alive.
Yeah, still breathing is good physical health.
Like, I like
Not
what's her
unexceptional.
mile time? Like, what the fuck?
She can't stand up for longer than 30 seconds at a time, but for someone her age, she's in great physical condition.
The average for someone her age is only 20 seconds. So
Yeah.
Oh man. So that was my fucking ace in the hole that I had. I was so excited to get that one out there.
Really going out on a limb with a 103-year-old lady. That's
all right. So my next one is gonna kind of be a bummer if it does happen, because I really do like her. I'm trying to look really quick to see how old she is. She's 89 years old, so she's old, but she's certainly not 103. But that would be Dame Judi Dench, who is best known as M from the multiple James Bond series, right? Like she spanned across Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig. So I don't think she works much anymore. And like I said, she's 89. She'll be 90 later this year. She was born in 1934. So yeah. Again, one that I would be bummed, but you know, we got to play the game, right? That's how it goes. The next one is an old motherfucker who is an economist who is somehow still relevant. Is Alan Greenspan. He's 98 years old. He's still kicking around. He's still like involved in like shit. Again, I don't know why we listen to someone who's 98 years old on the economy, but hey, whatever. So yeah, he's on my list. Now is when it gets kind of interesting. So the next one I have is Ricky Martin. Now,
Forgot about him.
there's a reason behind this, and it has to do with all of the pedophilia and Epstein stuff that's been circulating. Ricky Martin, I don't know if you know this, has been heavily involved in anti-child trafficking and trying to raise awareness and supporting causes that like bust up trafficking rings and things like that. Like he's, for all intents and purposes, for that reason, at least, he's a good guy. I don't know if he pays his taxes on time or if he, beats women or not, but he spends a lot of time and effort and money into combating child trafficking throughout the world. So I have a feeling that with all, it's just going out on a limb, right? It's playing the game. It's what we do here. That with all of the Epstein stuff, somehow he's gonna get too close to something and, pop the wrong ring, and someone's gonna come after him and fucking axe him. So Ricky Martin, because I think he's not that old. He's probably like in his 50s, maybe 60s. I don't know how old Ricky Martin is. Born in 1971. Yeah, he's 52. So not that old, but I'm running the sex trafficking ring angle here. So similarly, I'm adding Justin Roiland to this list. So there's a couple different angles here. For anyone that doesn't know, Justin Roiland is one of the creators of Rick and Morty. So
He is Rick.
Yeah,
Corey.
he was the voice of both of them. Not anymore. They replaced him. So he's had a rough go recently. He has had a run-in with drugs and alcohol pretty bad, to the point where they kicked him off the show that he created. So he is no longer involved with Rick and Morty. And also, his name is allegedly on the Epstein client list. So I don't know if people start dropping off that list. I mean, the shit writes itself, right? He's got a drug and alcohol problem. He was involved there. What's an easy way? You make him disappear. You make it look like a suicide, right? That's what they do. It's also known as a Clinton side, right? So Justin Roiland on my list for this year. And then lastly, I went with a wrestler, just to have a wrestler because I feel like it's just fun. And I took a big swing here with Dean Malenko.
How
So
old is Dean Malenko? Holy shit.
That's a name.
Dean Malenko is 63. He'll turn 64
That's
later
it?
this year. Yeah, I was surprised too when I looked up how old he was. But
He was
again,
older. We were like watching.
yeah.
He
So
looked
that
at
means, yeah, that means he looked a lot older. So, because what, 30 years ago is 94. He was probably wrestling in WCW then. And I
Yeah.
figured he was like 40 at the
Right.
time.
He looked it.
That's what I thought too.
He looked at it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah. So he's 64 this year.
What made you think of Dean Malenko?
Um,
Because I haven't heard or thought that name since 1999.
I was thinking of wrestlers who were just kind of like beat to shit and probably had a some sort of substance problem, which is not, not
Solid.
hard to not hard to find one, especially from the 90s. But then I was thinking like he was in that group of like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, like
Yep.
all them, and hey, they're both dead.
Well,
So I was like, what's who's that other guy? Oh yeah, Dean Malenko. Yeah, well, fuck it.
What
Let's finish
about-
off the group.
Yushin Thunder Liger and the Ultimo Dragon. What about them? Where are they? Where are they these days? That's not it. But anyways, where are those guys?
I don't know.
Fucking Dean Malenko.
So there you have it. That's my list. So we run through really quickly and then we can hit some final thoughts here. We have William Daniels, Dick Van Dyke, Gene Hackman, Willie Mays, Yoko Ono, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Bruce Willis, Will Smith, Meghan Markle, Elliot Page, not to be confused with Ellen Page, Derek Chauvin, however the fuck you say it, Chauvin, Clint Eastwood, RFK Jr., Mitch McConnell, Jerry Jones, Prince Andrew, Jack Burke Jr., Virginia Hallis McCuskey, Jerry the King Lawler, Jerry Sandusky, Elton John, Rod Stewart, Phil Collins, Chuck Grassley, Cher, Henry Winkler, Sister Jean, Dame Judi Dench, Alan Greenspan, Ricky Martin, Justin Roiland, and Dean Malenko. So there you have it. Those are our names, and we'll probably hit fucking 2 of them, if that, all year. But obviously for the show pick, we are going to go with Jimmy Carter because, as we were discussing right before we got on here, he's like 1,000,000 years old and his wife just died and they were married for like 65 years. And that is the recipe for once one of them, like the husband or the wife dies, the next one goes like within months, if not weeks. So Jimmy Carter is only a matter of time. And there was a second one, right? Didn't we say we were going to do 2? I don't remember who it was.
You were between them and another person.
Yeah, I don't know. There was four of
Yeah,
us talking
yeah.
about it because I remember
Yeah.
Chris, you said someone because I said fuck it, we can do 2 show picks because we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, I said Joe Biden.
Is it Biden?
Oh, Joe Biden, yeah, that's a fun one. Yeah,
I thought about putting him on mine, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to get arrested.
I would say
Which
he was on my
Or
list
disbarred.
when he was on my list when he won.
yeah, I think
The
you had him in
election.
2021.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
were gonna kill him.
yep. Until they realized how inept Kamala was, and they were like, "Oh fuck." All right, so that's that. We got some final thoughts here before we wrap things up. Want to go same order? Chris, you got anything?
I'll put it out to the group and we'll make this as quick as possible. Who do you guys think is going to be the Democratic candidate in 2024?
Hillary.
Big Mike.
Yeah,
I think-
Newsom.
I think they're stupid enough to trot Biden back out there. I think someone will. They will be stupid enough to do it.
I think there's a chance they go Hillary with Newsom as the VP.
The stuff that I've heard now is that they're going to leave it as Biden, concede the loss of Biden, and instead put all their money behind Nikki Haley. And so she'll be they're looking for her to be
She's the war hawk.
Yes.
That's what Vivek
the-
has come out and said that.
the Democrat version of Republican, or maybe the Republican version of Democrat, however that works. But
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of
Yeah,
interesting. That was an
sure.
interesting concept.
Yeah. Vivek has actually come out and kind of exposed in a way and said that all of the top Democratic donors,
She's getting all the money
like
now. Yeah.
Larry
yeah.
Fink from BlackRock
Yeah.
and all of these people
The
that
Koch brothers.
have funded ridiculous amounts of money towards the Democratic Party have now magically just turned and put all their money behind Nikki Haley.
Yep. I thought
What
that
a
was
coincidence.
Yeah.
That's such a weird series of events that probably can't be related in any way, right?
Yeah. Definitely not.
I think
Like,
that's
definitely can't just
fascinating.
follow the money and fucking figure this shit out.
Yeah.
No way.
No,
Yeah,
don't do that. That's a sure way for Hillary Clinton to pop up behind you with the piano wire.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's what I got. I thought that was interesting. That's that concept of sort of like the uniparty, and it doesn't matter from whoever they're going to get their representative from, but they'll get it. And she seems to be the pick. Obviously, I mean, they're going to do everything they can to not put Trump in a position where he can even run. So
Right. I mean, yeah, they're already starting. That's really interesting. That's a good idea. Like I said, Vivek has kind of floated that out there.
he's side note, he's fucking fantastic.
He's
He's gonna-
incredible.
Everything that he says, I'm like,
He's Trump's
yes,
VP.
dude.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. He's Trump's
Yeah.
VP.
He could be. He
Yeah.
could be.
But you know, if he was an actual candidate, I would vote for him, hands down. But we'll see if he makes
He
it
needs
there.
to. He needs to fucking go independent.
Yeah. All right, Mike, you got a final thought?
Yeah. So given the debacle that was this afternoon with the Patriots, do kind of a two-parter. One, do we think this was actually Bill Belichick's last game? And two, if so, who do we want as the next head coach?
Yes, he's done. And who do I want? Whatever. Like,
I kind of want Vrabel as that.
I want Vrabel, but I would be good with Gerard Mayo. I think Mayo is a good choice. I think he's the right choice. And then we go from there.
If it was his last, I don't know. The weird thing in me is like, there's been some rumblings lately, like, hey, he might not be out. I want him. I would like for him to still be the coach, but with him comes the GM, and that's what I don't want. So I know we can't have both. Therefore,
And
I would,
somebody to actually draft and make.
yeah, I would love for him to relinquish personnel duties. Like I would love that, but
Although I
does.
saw a report that it's actually Kraft that does all that stuff, which I don't believe at all.
I mean, it would make some sense for what that fucking 2017 draft was. Like, yeah, and a senile old man getting fucking hand jobs in Florida. Yes, that's what that draft does look like. So then if I was gonna like pick my realistic wish list, I want Flores as
Yeah.
head coach
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't be bad.
and Mayo the DC.
Yeah. I mean, if I could have a dream candidate of anybody, I mean, top of my list would be Kyle Shanahan, but then
Yeah,
I
but
would say Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh would be good.
I just can't look at that guy.
Yeah, he's a whiny bitch.
His face
Yeah.
is so punchable. It's amazing.
But I think
Strangled with
it's
his-
probably Mayo. And I think I think that's a good choice.
and get rid of Billy O'Brien. He wasn't good this year.
Yeah, I'm all set. I'm all set with that. So, other thoughts on that? Or are we good to move to Bob?
Good to move.
All right. Scratch man.
So not that long ago, I don't know why, but like why now I cared, but I put a pedometer on my phone. So it just counts the steps. That's it. Nothing. It like wants to tell me all this shit and like calories burn. It's whatever. I was mostly curious because everyone's like, oh, I gotta get my steps in, gotta get my steps in. I'm like, you know what? For a guy that not only is on my feet all day, I do pace around a lot. I go, I wonder just like how many steps am I taking just in general? Now, it's all over the fucking place. So that's not the point. This app runs in the background of my phone. So my phone is just in my pocket. The pedometer is always going. Something popped up the other day that said, congratulations, you've logged 3 weeks of workouts, which is better than 67% of users. And I'm like, the app just runs in the background. I'm not logging actually anything. I'm not inputting anything. I wake up, it says 0. I go to the bathroom, it says fucking 30 when I come out. Like, it just does it all for me. Congratulations. I don't know, I pace. Like I said.
They installed a trough so he could pace while he pisses.
Do you march while you shit?
It's more like when I brush my teeth. It's almost like an aerobics class, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I don't know, whatever, the whole process of. But I did like that. Congratulations, you've done better than 67% of users. So theoretically, that would have to mean that people uninstalled the app because, again, it just runs in the background. And I'm like, that the idea that it's like, oh, wow, you're on a roll, or it's like, oh, wow, you've met whatever. I'm like, this is a joke. Again, the only thing is like, I was curious to see like, what is the total, like just in normal days?
Yeah, what do you average in a normal day?
Ah, fuck, there's no average, dude.
And
I'm
only
anywhere
measure
from,
that is
I'm anywhere
for
from
golf.
7,000 to 12,000.
Depends on how many shits he takes.
And
And that's
none
the
of that.
volleyball season, Bob.
Well, I was gonna say the only thing is even so when I do play, I'll get like 1,000,000 steps, but I don't put my phone on. I don't have my phone on me. I leave it in my bag, so it's a flawed system anyway. But yeah, I was just curious. Like it was honestly, it was only curiosity, and then like the idea, it's like I'm achieving these different levels and unlocking all these fucking goals. I'm like, the thing just sits in my pocket. Like I am not doing anything. I am not actively changing anything. And actually, all I've done lately is just increase my caffeine intake. That's it.
Hence the many visits to the bathroom.
I do go to the bathroom a lot. That probably is a lot of my steps. Because I got to go back there and around and come back out.
It's true. All right. Jones, you got a final thought?
Yeah, so I'm nominating the airport and being on an airplane as the worst fucking experience ever. Um, I want to drive anywhere I travel from now until the day I die. I never want to go on an airplane again.
Were you
I
recently
had
on Alaskan Airlines?
no, coming back from Vegas, I just wanted to get home. I like spent $1 billion on. I just want to get home. Um, and we get 5 feet off the ramp guy thing is gone. Some guy starts having a medical emergency. They stop the plane and they send him back. So we wait an extra 45 minutes getting the guy off the plane. So we were just like maybe 100 feet away from the airport. So we get that's another 45 minutes. So we get that situated. We go in line to leave the airport to fly back here. We were 13 planes ahead of us. So we ended up getting back here like 4 hours later. I think we got back here like 2 in the morning. And I had work the next day. So fuck airports and fuck airplanes. I'll drive wherever I need to go. It's not that important.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking miserable. And if
Yeah.
it's that long of a drive, you don't need to go there.
Hey, what's the drive from Maryland to Vegas?
It's like a day and a half, probably 2 days.
2 sleeps.
No, non-stop.
Sorry, you broke up there. Said I got nonstop.
You fucking Mitch McConnell me.
Non-stop. It's about 2 days. My uncle did it once.
Okay. That's not terrible. But all right, yeah, fuck airplanes.
Honestly, the airport. I mean, dude, it does suck. Like,
The
it's such a- it's
airports
such a
are
fucking
probably the
disaster.
worst fucking place ever.
Everybody loses their mind. It's just not worth it.
Yeah,
Really.
like rules, like normal rules don't exist, right? Like people just like regular average people start drinking at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Like people that don't have a drinking problem will just start drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning just cause like people are on all kinds of fucking drugs. I had people like borrow like a Xanax or a Valium.
Yeah, it's like,
without,
I don't use drug. I'm not a drug user, but I take Valium before I go on a plane.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I hate planes, so I call my fucking brother-in-law to get some fucking Xanax before I fly because I just can't handle it. It's like, all right,
I wish I could sleep on airplanes. That would be nice.
I can sleep when I'm hungover coming home and sleep deprived. Typically, the way back is a lot easier to sleep than the way there. But yeah, I mean, the whole experience is just fucking dumb. Dealing with
Awful.
idiots, right, that don't know how to go through TSA.
And that's the other thing. It's a horrible display of humanity.
Yeah.
Like,
Or you got the same people that won't check their bags on the plane and jam the whole plane up an extra like half hour. If the plane's full, they won't check their bags.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, to be fair, I'm not a bag checker, but I also only travel with a duffel bag and a backpack. That's it. Like we went on our honeymoon to Hawaii for 10 days. I brought a duffel bag and a backpack. I was like, don't need that many things. There are that many clothes, right? Like that's it.
I think one of the times I flew last year, someone had a small suitcase, but it didn't fit. Like it was too like tall.
Yeah.
And the woman's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to check this." He goes, "Oh, you do?" And I'm like, "It doesn't fit.
Where
What the
else would
fuck
you like it to
else
go?
is it gonna go?" You know what? Put it by that door. I have a feeling it'll be nice and safe by that.
Tie it to the roof like a fucking Volkswagen.
Stick your arm out the window.
Yeah. Can I just sit with it? No.
All right. So my final thought here. It was the first time this happened to me in a really long time. I used to get these like random like ideas and thoughts when I was in the shower all the time. And like I haven't gotten one for like
Go on.
yeah, I get these intrusive thoughts where it's like, oh, you should kill this person. No, it's so like I used to get like random like business ideas of like just random shit all the time. Like, oh, that would be a really good idea to start a business. So I had the first one in like
on a roll.
probably yeah yeah. Man, I hate dropping the soap. Oh
Ugh,
man. So
to pick that low hanging fruit.
this idea is actually has to do with grocery stores. And I want an app to track a rough estimate of how many people are in a grocery store at a time, right? So, and it would be like a third party service, right? So you would go to like whatever third party app or website, and if your grocery store subscribes to this service, you search it right by location, you click on it, and it will tell you there are they're not roughly because they would be able to tell you, but there are like 152 people in this store right now. And then it's like, oh, okay, like maybe I don't want to go right now because just of this weekend where we got snow for the first time in the season. And despite living in New England and having to deal with snow literally all 32 years of my life, and other people longer, right? As long as anyone's been alive in New England, it's snowed here. The first snow of the season, for whatever reason, this weekend, people lost their fucking minds. And grocery stores were packed, they were empty. It was just absolutely fucking retarded. So I had a thought of, because it would be helpful just on like a random weekday or weekend day, right? Like if you're like, I gotta go to fucking Market Basket, I can pull up the app, right, and find the South Attleboro Market Basket, and it'll tell me how many people are in that store. And I'd be like, oh, it's not that crowded. I'll go. But I mean, what I would do is I would go when the number's high, because you got to play the reverse psychology, right? Because if people look at it and they see a high number, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna go. But you got to factor in the travel and shit, right? And now I'm going down a rabbit hole. This is how I would sell it to people, but I don't think it's a bad idea, right? Like they already have
Good
stuff like
idea.
this that exists. So gyms do this. Some gyms will do this. Um, when I was still a member at Fit Factory in Foxborough, they instituted some sort of counting mechanism during COVID, because they had like a limit of how many people they would allow in the gym at one
Yeah.
time. So
Punch
I
and
don't,
break did that too.
yeah, so I don't know if it was literally like someone stood at the door with one of those like pitch counters, like a fucking umpire, and they like just typed the number into like a whatever computer program they had, or if it was some sort of like next level counter. But like the technology kind of already exists and it was used. I think it would be useful.
It's a man where you jump to different conclusions.
uh,
It's a good idea. The reason it'll never happen is because it's to benefit the shopper and not the store. So the store is never going to pay money for something that would only benefit shoppers, and it would deter people from coming at certain times.
I would support it if it also included the age of the customers.
Yeah.
IQ level.
yeah.
The combined IQ in the store today is 210. Oh boy. There's 100 people there. Sure is.
Yeah, that would be a good one, right? And maybe that's something eventually you get to when AI takes over and we all have chips implanted into us, and they can just scan the chip and give you the information.
GPS. I want speeds. I want to know
Yeah.
the average speed of the
Yeah.
people moving in there.
Yeah, just put
I don't
GPS
need
on all
age.
the
I don't need
carriages.
IQ. Just move fucking faster.
Yeah, how fast are the carriages moving? So there you have it. That's the 2024 celebrity death pool. There we have it. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you all for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button up top, hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only listener as well. Help spread the word. Tell everybody you know about the show. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Website is sarcasmspeaks.com. You go to the merch store, buy some merch, like that handy dandy coaster that Jones holding up right now. What else? Support all the sponsors in the show notes below. Shout out to the new sponsor that I mentioned in the last episode, Element. Go to drinkelement.com. It's just it's an electrolyte powder that you can add to your drinks. It's great. I love it. I've used it for a little while now. So the link down there, you use that to get a free sample pack. So shout out to those guys. I think that is it. So until next time, good night, everybody.